So today we're going to address a question that is very common in my office, and that is, should I give my house to my children? It's a question that I think people ask out of concern and worry, concern that the nursing home might take the house, worry that they might not be able to keep it during their lifetime, or they may not be able to pass it down to children when they die. So when we think about the possibility of transferring a house to children, we have to think about what I call the 4 Ds. So the first D is debt. If your child legally owns your house and they become in debt, they have creditors and perhaps they can't pay those creditors for whatever reason, that creditor could very well see your house as an asset of your child's and a way to get that debt paid. So when we transfer a house to a child, we have exposed the house to that child's creditors and that child's debt. The second D is disability. Heaven forbidding your child would become seriously injured or chronically ill and they have their own medical issues, possibly even long-term care needs to be dealing with. We've just made the house an asset that's available to pay for their care, or it could become an issue for them to qualify for programs that they need to get the care that they require. The third D is divorce. If your child is married and they become unmarried, the house may very well become a part of the property distribution in that divorce, and your child may or may not end up owning it fully at the end of that process, or they may have to buy out their spouse. The other alternative would be if your child is single and then they marry, your child's spouse may very well have an interest in the house. So that is something that is a serious consideration. The fourth D is death. So if heaven forbidding your child would predecease you, then your house is an asset in their estate and it's subject to your child's estate planning, whatever that might be or not be. You don't have any control over what their estate planning really says, and that may end up with the house that you live in, that you paid for, that you consider yours, going to their spouse, possibly your grandchildren if you have them, a charity, or whatever it is that your child has put in place. So while it's an attractive idea to think about transferring your house to children, I hope you can see that it's a substantial decision and it isn't something that should be done without serious consideration of all of the consequences for both you and your children.